Okay, good morning, guys. It's the Riverfest second round for me on the River Severn at Bewdley. As you know, I fish Bewdley quite regular, so I got an idea where the pegging is. You know, I got a chance on that on the draw. Excuse me, I'm just finishing some breakfast. I had to eat breakfast because the draw is at Widows, which they don't do breakfast, so I thought I'd grab something on the way. Anyway, Widows, is it? Widden Halls, yeah. It's as bad as the Welsh names, isn't they? Right, okay, no further ado, I'm going to go over now and register, pay the pools, do the draw, and then hopefully I'll see you down on the peg. Well, I'll let you know what peg I got now shortly. Okay. Okay, there I am. 96, not a very good peg. I'm one off actually. 98 would have been a flyer. But there I am. I've seen a weight come off here once before, but I don't think 98 was in, because 98 is like an end peg, and it runs. It's called the old pipe peg, and it runs under the motorway bridge, and it's like an island there. So I'm just bloody one off it. Never mind, that's luck of the draw. Try my best anyway. It's always a section to go for. But you never know. Fish are fish, they do swim, don't they? So, and the feeders are allowed today, so there you are. I never know. Okay, see you down on the peg. Oh, did you? Right, okay. Right, you know what they say, never go and look at other people's peg when you draw. And I've done a terrible thing, I've come down to look at 98. But fair dues, I got Peter May, is it? Mace, Peter Mace. Say hello, Peter.
Don't put me on that camera. Hello everybody.
He's on peg 98, so the favourite peg. When I say favourite, it's pretty consistent. Yeah. Yeah, so people were telling me you won the big Stratford one, did you?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago? Oh, there you are. Claim to fame.
Yeah. Qualified and didn't do too bad.
Yeah, great. Oh,
yeah.
Well, let's hope you do well today. I mean, I'm one above you. I mean, obviously, you know. I've seen my peg produced once. Yeah. Paul Turner was on it, and I don't know why, but the fish sort of come up from this peg and they went up. So whether it's going to happen today, I don't know.
You'll probably draw them up.
No, I don't. No, I'm too far up. I'm bloody miles up. All right, all the best, Pete. Anyway.
And you.
Yeah, so there we are. So 96 is a long way up from there. Whether I can draw fish up, I don't know. I'll show you the peg anyway. I got the scales, by the way. I forgot to mention that. I got bloody way in from 91 to 98. So here I am, coming down to the peg. Got some of my gear here now. Just taking my stand down. I have to put my waders on in a minute. And probably get out a little bit. Okay. I don't know how deep it is close in. Hope it's not too deep. As I say, on his peg, I know he's on the start of a rapid. Yeah, 98's got the start of a rapids, and by year it starts to steady out a bit. Still going through a bit, and a little bit of colour. Not as bad as last Wednesday though. So, right, no further ado. Let's tackle up and get ready. I'll probably fish a waggler, stick, and a feeder, of course. Yeah. Okay. Match is about to start. Right, I've got in the water. I was going to sit on the platform, but I'm going to stand up, I think. Only because I'm not sure about the platform. My rigger's platform fell apart on me last week, so I got an old one. So, but I'm quite comfortable sitting down. So, standing up, I should say, in the water. But I got my box and my trays around me. Landing net, keep nets downstream. Got a feeder rod ready. Probably go out on the feeder to start off with. I've got a bagging waggler to drag the bottom, and a couple of floats for the inside, and that's it. Just about to start. Okay. I'm starting off on the feeder because you never know. I'm loose feeding as well, just starting to loose feed. But I thought I'd put a feeder out. Hemp casters, a couple of reds on the hook, size 14. Looking for perhaps an early fish, early chub maybe. And the intention is later on perhaps a barbel. But the barbel don't really live in this area. You know, you get the occasional lone ranger, but generally you need to be on the faster water. You know, either in the rapids above or below. That's what makes that peg below 98 such a good peg, because it's running onto a rapids, and it runs under the bridge, and there's an island there as well. So when the water's up, it's good, you know. So anyway, I'm getting odd knocks on the maggot. So I'm, you know, the end of the maggot's being smashed a little bit. So that tells me there's a little dace around or bleak. But I'll persevere for a little bit longer and then see what happens. Okay, I'll come back to you shortly. Okay, what I'm doing as well, I'm just loose feeding on the inside. Hemp, casters, and some maggots. And in a minute I'll come in onto the inside line with a stick float and see what happens from there, I think. But in the meantime, I'll persevere. I'll give it sort of 10 minutes, 15 minutes, which will get some bait, obviously, down, and then later on perhaps put the float out over the top of it. Okay? Okay, well, I'm basically still fishing the feeder. It's probably about 10 minutes now into the match. I'm still feeding on the inside line. I've noticed a few small fish topping as well out on the feeder line, because I'm actually feeding sort of maggots over the top. And I've noticed, well, I know for a fact it's only about 4 foot deep anyway. So anyway, I'll just I'll keep persevering for a little bit longer, then I'll come back in and I'll switch on the float, because by then I think I would have built up any fish that's come into the swim. What generally happens is that, I'm just swapping over now, so here we go. What generally happens is that you start catching a few fish, and then you sort of exhaust the swim a little bit, and that's what generally happens. So you got to sort of fish around and keep the fish coming, if you like, by either going further out, further in, and further out. Now what I'm doing, I'm putting an over-depth waggler, bagging waggler down the middle now. It's a 10-gram balsa, used on commercials as well, but it's a marvellous little float, this. So I'm out in the middle, down the same line as the feeder, going to drag the bottom, just in case, something sort of hanging around there. Maybe catch a few dace as well at the same time. We'll see now. So I've on a double maggot on a 14-year, so if I do hook anything decent, at least I'll get a chance of getting it in. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, I'm getting little knocks on the float, and I do catch 1 or 2 little dace on it. Obviously on a big hook, I'm also bumping a few, so it's not quite the right presentation. Not for dace anyway. Later on I will go on to a finer float to catch the dace. But we'll look out and see how the match develops now. As I say, I'm keep on feeding out and on the inside as well. Trying to keep a couple of swims going. The forecast was supposed to be a bit of rain today, but it didn't actually materialize, so thankfully. I think that's a small one there, small dace. Yeah. So I know there's small dace there to be caught in the middle. Trouble is, I'm not going to, really get a big weight. I'm not going to build a weight with those small fish out in the middle. You need to sort of get them close in. That's why a lot of the guys use whips and poles to hand on this venue. The problem is, every time I've done that, I've hooked something big, and it's stretched and it's come off. So I usually opt for a stick float on the inside, so it's just as quick, I think, as a whip. All right, you can't hold back as well. Maybe you can to a certain extent. Anyway, I'm diversifying at the moment. As I say, I'm concentrating on this. I'll give it a bit longer before I come in on the inside. Yeah, so I'm getting plenty of little bites on the waggler. It is belting through quite a bit, mind. Yeah, I think I've got a small dace here. Yeah. As I say, not really going to build a weight on these small fish at that distance. Anyway, let's carry on. Okay, I've just come in now on the stick on the inside, and I'm starting to build a little bit of a weight, I suppose. You know, although they're very small at the moment. You know, I feed in sort of hemp and casters and maggots. But I'm sort of just a rod length out. One thing I can tell you sometimes is that, and I've noticed it quite a few times, this is another reason I haven't gone too far out, because a lot of the fish can be caught very close into the bank. The reason I've gone out a little bit further here is you can see on the end of the swim there's some trees that sort of hang in the water, and the whole idea later on in the match is to actually go under that, and you know, if it gets hard, I'll sort of trot under that tree. Well, I couldn't do that, you know, obviously fishing from the bank. Because the river's quite gravelly, you know, you can actually wade out quite a long way. And I know some anglers actually go right out into the middle of the river, some of them. But what they do, that means that the fish behind them, they miss out on. Because, you know, as I said, I've seen this happen so many times. So generally, I try to fish as close into the bank generally. But on this particular peg, I'm actually gone further out because I'm hoping that I can draw fish up from 98 from the end peg. It's a long way down, you know, so the chances are very slim. As I said, I've only ever seen one angler have a weight off this, and I think the water's probably a bit more lower than this, and I think the fish should come up, because 98 then becomes too shallow, if you know what I mean, because it's you know, it's even shallower than this peg. But I think it's ideal conditions today for 98. But as I say, if it was lower, then the chances are the fish would come up from the very shallow, you know, inches deep into sort of a, you know, 2 foot, foot and a half, 2 foot of water. But unfortunately, not today. Anyway, I'll carry on and you know, sit back, watch me catch a few fish, and I'll come back to you shortly. Okay, well, I've had a nice little run of small fish on and off. Thought I'd just try back out in the middle on the old, dragging waggler. I did have a couple of little chub on it, only small ones, no, not much bigger than a dace, but they soon dried up, and that basically that was my match. So anyway, hope to see you on the next one. Lads, match is over. Basically, all I catch is them small things all the time. I've caught more or less on and off all day, really. I've enjoyed it in a funny way, but they were. So, right, I tell you how I had them, because I've always thought, like these days, they're so clever up in the water. They actually, you fish a waggler, right, and you're missing the bites and little sticks. I actually fished a pole float, a very light, I think it's 4 number, or say 5 or 6 number 8s, like, and obviously with a close fixed spool, I sort of really cast it hard out, sort of in the middle a bit, and I was getting a little bit taste. It's really a very good catch, and a couple of little chublets as well, only little ones. And a couple then, what I noticed on the ones on the inside were like that mini ones. The ones up there, I wasn't catching as many, but they were slightly bigger. So anyway, I've enjoyed myself. Right, got to pack up now and go way in. So the guy halfway through on peg 98, he admitted to one of the runners he had about £10 then. So I guess he's going to have a lot more. And that's the best weight all the way up, apparently. I don't know. All right, we'll see. Somebody's probably catch a barbel or a chub or two in the end, anyway. Okay, sit a bit on the way in now. Okay, yeah, right. I weighed in £10.9, which is the best going up. And 98, he's just done me. He's had £14. He's had three dog chub with bits. So. Shame that. Never mind. Okay, well, I'll just take the results back now. I got the board, I got to take it back. Hopefully I'll put the results up. I don't know. I heard it, I haven't fished well, apparently he's like had the best weight, gone all the way down to 120, so they said. So I don't know. Can't be that bad, surely. Okay, I'll let you know the results later. Okay.